guys, Andy here. I've had a couple of requests to do my best phones of 2015 video. So I figured, okay, yep, we'll get it recorded, but it's a slightly different slant to it. So we've got best budget device, best value device, and money is no object device. So, and these are just my thoughts, and obviously I've tried 16 phones this year, I think. So there's a lot of them out there that I've never tried. I've never tried a Moto X. Can you believe that? Kind of weird. Must make sure I pick one up at some point just to give them a go, because many people really highly rate them. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. So, best budget phone, I'm going to have to go with the Vodafone Smart Ultra 6. You can pick them up from anywhere between £99 and £125. They seem to be on offer quite often at £99. Even if you get it from Vodafone and it's locked, you can have it unlocked for a couple of quid on eBay. It's a nice design, it's got an average camera, good battery life, and generally just great performance for the money. I don't think you can go too far wrong. Kind of runner-up or one to bear in mind is maybe the Xiaomi Redmi Note 2. Now, I realise I've just reviewed the Note 3 and said that's the better buy, but actually the Note 3 pushes up to kind of 180 odd pounds, whereas the Redmi Note 2 you can maybe still get for about 120, so we're keeping it in that real low end of the price bracket. Good performance for the money, average camera. It's got a few software niggles and a few other issues just because it's not a European release phone. It is a Chinese release. So, but it's one to bear in mind. So moving to the best value, this was actually, I think, in the end, quite an easy decision. For me, it's the LG G4. You can pick them up now for about £240, I think, or £250 maybe. And to me, it's still one of the best phones of last year. So at that price, almost ridiculous. Nice software touches by LG, a few additions that are like, things like the selfie cam that they do, stuff like that. It's got a good, nice, loud rear-facing speaker. It's got an amazing camera, perhaps the best camera on a mobile phone at the moment. It's got one of the best batteries I've ever tested as well. Really, just amazing battery life from it. So for me, it wasn't really close. The runners-up, I would say, probably the Moto G 3rd Gen, the 16 gig version with 2 gig of RAM, although I didn't test that one. I tested the 1 gig and that was pretty good, so I can only imagine for, what was it, £20, £40 more, the 2 gig version. It's got to be a good purchase, really. Or a Nexus 6. It's only a year old now, stock Android, very slick, very smooth, a good camera, above average. Both of those kind of pretty much stock. Well, Nexus 6 obviously totally stock. So those definitely, they're in the sort of 200 to 250 price range at the moment as well, I believe. If we move on to the money is no object, quite a tough decision, and this is my opinion, but it's the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. So it was a tough decision for me this year to decide between the Note 5 and the Nexus 6P, but I've gone with the Note 5. It's got great build quality, feels very good in the hand. The stylus can be quite useful at times. Samsung have got some handy little additions. I know a lot of people would prefer stock Android, but actually Samsung have done some good stuff, like the camera app is a lot better in my opinion. TouchWiz really isn't a reason not to buy a Samsung anymore. It doesn't really get in your way, it doesn't really slow the device down. The Note 5 is so slick and smooth. You've got an amazing camera and you've got a great battery. For me, it ticks all of the boxes. There's not really a weak point on it. Then throw in the Gear VR that I myself bought recently for £80, which is compatible with the Note 5. To me, it's just, it's the best phone of last year. The runner-up, as I've already mentioned, the Nexus 6P, and to me it was very close. But where the Note 5 doesn't have any flaws, I think the 6P does have some flaws. So the lack of optical image stabilization, for example, on the camera, that's quite a big one for me. And just the device itself is just slightly too big. But on the plus side, I love the design. The phone's got loads of character. To me, it's the best looking phone that I have, especially since I put my funky yellow D-brand skin on it. Stock Android, obviously, with immediate updates, is just a delight to use. So, I mean, obviously, it's the best Nexus ever. You would hope so. After a year of development, it would be better than the previous one. But even compared to its peers, it's probably the best Nexus that Google has produced. So those are my thoughts. I'm sure there's many people out there that would disagree. I'm sure there's certain phones that I've never used that probably should have been in consideration, like the LG V10. I'd love to have played with one of them because the G4 was amazing. So I can only assume that it's even better than that. But I've not had a chance to, I can't use all devices, unfortunately. So those are my thoughts. I'm sure you have plenty of thoughts of your own, which I'd love to hear. Drop them down in the comments down here. But for now, my name's Andy, and I'll catch you all again soon.